Good afternoon, everyone. Today I am explaining about the scope and importance of the public expenditure. Last class we are discussing about the many a concept. That is, one is that in the last session we learnt about the meaning of learnt about the sources of public revenue. We also learnt about the tax reforms in India. We learnt about the recent tax reforms in India, and also we are also learnt about the concept of the public expenditure, meaning of the public expenditure. So meaning of the public expenditure, it means government should incur or expand many authorities, that is central, state government and local government, that is called the public expenditure. So in this public expenditure we know the various learning objectives of in this session. What is the learning objectives in this session? It means to enable the student to get the idea about motives behind the public expenditure, and another one is that learning outcomes of the of this public expenditure is that student will be able to understand the principles of public expenditure, because public expenditure, it is a very important concept for the each and everyone. Because and then in this democracy, government where government should expand in this public expenditure. So that's why we are studied about the concepts of the public expenditure. Now let us come to discussing about the scope of public expenditure. There are three scope of public expenditure. That is, the first one is that allocation of resources, and the second one is the distribution of income, and the third one is that stabilization of prices. So let me know about the allocation of resources. Allocation of resources, it means government should allocate their collecting the taxable amount. So allocate the collecting the taxable amount, they allocate the different sectors: primary sector like agriculture, and the dependent sector, industrial sector, and the service sector. Basically government should allocate the resources in all the sectors. That is the one of the scope of the public expenditure. And the second scope is that distribution of the income. Here the concept of distribution of the income, it would be explaining about the to remove the imbalance, income inequality. So imbalance in income inequality, it means in any economy, we know about the there are in our economy there are two types of the categories. One is below poverty line, and another one is that upper poverty line. So here in this session, government should distribute should expend high amount of the below poverty line, and comparatively upper poverty line. And the third one is that stabilization of prices. Yes, stabilization of prices is also one of the scope of public expenditure. Why the stabilization of the prices is also one of the scope of the public expenditure? Because in the public expenditure we know about government should almost maintain the stabilization of the commodity prices, because consumer daily commodity or consumer goods commodity price many a times it's increased, many a times it's rises 10 thrice and four times it is rises. So that's why government should always maintain the stabilization of the commodity price, because we are comparing to onion price. If onion price rises 100 rupees and above, government always maintain the below 100 rupees. So this is the one of the scope. That's why these are the three scope of the public expenditure: allocation of resources, distribution of income, and stabilization of the income. Now let us come to discussing about the what is the importance of public expenditure. One is that minimize the gap between have and have nots, and sustain the balance of income distribution. Yes, so in this concept, it is always minimize the gap between below poverty line and the upper poverty line. So that's why this is one of the importance of the public expenditure. And the second one is that to assure welfare condition. To assure welfare condition is also one of the importance of the public expenditure. And the third one is that to improve the social inclusiveness is also one of the another importance of the public expenditure. So this is the scope and importance of the public scope and importance of the public expenditure. And thank you, thanks for this